So, what happens when something ancient, something deeply spiritual, has to fight for your attention online? That's what we're diving into today. We're going to deconstruct this one kind of weird search query, but trust me, it tells a huge story about how we're all consuming knowledge now. You know how these thousand-year-old traditions are meeting the crazy rules of the modern internet?
All right, so this is it. This is what we're working with. At first glance, it just looks like a jumble of words, right? Something you type into a search bar. But believe it or not, this little phrase is a perfect snapshot of a huge cultural shift. It's a promise, it's a format, and it's a challenge, all packed into one. So the big question is, what is it really trying to tell us?
Okay, let's jump into Section 1, Decoding the Promise. We're going to start by breaking this down and figuring out what it's all about, kind of translating these key words into the big idea they're actually pointing to.
So when you piece it all together, what you're really looking at is a title like The Essence of 50 Prayers. And right away, that just feels different, doesn't it? It feels way more significant. It's not just a random list of things, it's a distillation. And that one word, that choice, is a really big deal.
Yeah, let's focus on that one word, essence. That's the key. This isn't just promising you, a quick summary or an overview. No, it's promising something way, way deeper.
So what do we mean by essence? We're talking about the core, the absolute soul of the matter. The whole idea is that it cuts through all the noise, all the fluff, and gives you only the most crucial, the most essential parts of these teachings. And honestly, that's a pretty bold claim. It's promising to give you the very heart of the subject with zero filler.
And then there's the number, 50. Why 50? Well, that number tells you this is supposed to be a pretty comprehensive collection, right? It's not just a handful of ideas, it's a whole curated set of knowledge. It kind of promises you a full journey, one with a clear and, more importantly, an achievable destination.
All right, so on one hand, you've got this promise of depth and a whole lot of content. But then, bam, you hit the big constraint. Let's move on to Section 2, the 8-minute challenge. This is really where the old world of, these long, deep talks just smashes right into the new world of digital media. Okay, first things first. We got to understand this word, bayan. A bayan is basically a traditional Islamic sermon or lecture. And these things, they can be long. We're talking super detailed, full of context, stories, deep religious ideas. An hour, maybe even longer. They were designed for an audience that had the time and dedication to really sit and listen.
And then you see this number, 8. Just 8 minutes. So how on earth do you take the essence of something that's an hour long and squeeze it into 8 minutes? It's that tight constraint that creates this really powerful tension. It forces a total reinvention of how you even deliver this kind of knowledge.
And you can really see the shift right here. On one side, you have the traditional bayan. It's in-person, it's communal, it could last for hours. On the other side, you have this 8-minute video. It's digital, you watch it alone, and it is strictly concise. We're moving from deep, exhaustive detail to just the key, punchy takeaways. It's a complete transformation, not just in how this stuff is delivered, but how we, the audience, actually consume it.
So, what does all this mean when you put it all together? This isn't just about one series of videos, not at all. This whole format is a perfect example of a much bigger trend. This is Section 3, Ancient Wisdom, Modern Rules. It's all about how ancient knowledge is learning to play by the rules of today's world. I mean, just think about what this represents. A format like this makes these really profound teachings accessible to anyone, anywhere in the world. It's perfectly designed for our, let's be honest, shorter attention spans. It's like a bridge connecting these ancient traditions with a generation that grew up online. This is it. This is how timeless wisdom gets repackaged so it can survive and even thrive in our super fast-paced world.
Okay, Section 4, the core takeaway. So if you're going to remember just one thing from all of this, what should it be? Let's boil it all down.
Here's the crucial point. This isn't about watering things down. It's about adaptation. That simple little search query we started with, it's basically a blueprint for how to survive in the digital attention economy. It's proof that really deep, complex ideas can be reshaped to stay relevant, to stay powerful, and to reach a whole new generation.
And that kind of leaves us with a final question for you. This whole format, everything we've talked about, is built around finding the essence of something big. So in our own lives, where we're just flooded with information all the time, have we figured out how to do that for ourselves? What's the essence of what truly matters to you? What's your 8-minute version? It's definitely something to think about.